Now, as Ghana's $3 billion extended credit facility with the International Monetary Fund draws closer to completion, IMF officials remain in Accra for the fifth review, now in its second week, expected to end by October 10th. If the review ends successfully, Ghana will receive an additional $360 million, bringing total disbursements to $2.6 billion since the program began in 2023. Now, this round of discussions focuses on how the support has been used to stabilize the economy, reduce public debt, and drive reforms in energy, revenue mobilization, and social protection. It also reviews the performance of Ghana's Gold Board and assesses how the current administration has managed the broader economy. Now let's hear from the Managing Director of the IMF ahead of this review.
Back to say that on July 7th, the IMF's Executive Board completed the fourth review of Ghana's program with the fund. Ghana received about $367 million at that time, and total support under the program reached $2.3 billion since May 2023. As you alluded to, we do currently have a team on the ground in Accra for the fifth review under the program. The team is holding discussions with the authorities and other stakeholders. Obviously, the team is going to be assessing progress made, continued progress made under the program, and they will. The mission will conclude on October.
Today on By the Numbers, we take a closer look at the program's performance as it approaches its final phase, where the money has gone, what impact it's made, and what the next stage means for Ghana's economic recovery. Mauna will do just that. Mauna, what are we learning?
Right, and so we're getting into the dying embers of this extended credit facility as we received from the International Monetary Fund. At that point in time, it was the only solution for the country, considering, if you want to remember, 2022 and the difficulties which the entire country experienced as well. And so this is what we know. It was a $3 billion extended credit facility expected to end next year, 2026. It started in May 2023, and it was a three-year program. Total amount as disbursed, $2.3 billion. We're expecting to receive the all clear to get the next tranche. We will be the fifth tranche to come in, and then that will raise it to some $2.6 billion. The core conditions upon which we went there and were receiving this extended credit facility support: fiscal discipline. We're expecting, amongst many other things, to cap our deficit at 5%, under 5% of GDP for the year 2025. In terms of revenue, we're expecting to raise tax to GDP to about 18% by the year 2026. We'll find out whether or not we're on course for that. And then monetary control as well. The BOG was to halt direct budget financing. And if you want to get into a bit of the histories as to why we're seeing this, remember that cost in terms of losses that the BOG incurred, some 50 billion cedis losses at the time. One of the many things which resulted in those losses was the extended support the BOG had to give to the government in funding the budget. And as a result of that, the back and forth resulted, when the haircuts came around, it resulted in significant losses for the central bank as well. And so that became a significant aspect of the conversations when we went before the IMF. And then a reform of our state-owned enterprises, because they have been on a downward trajectory for quite a while. It's reason why when the president, and I mean the current president, was sworn in, of the many things he did first was to meet all the heads of the respective SOEs for a meeting and give clear timelines or clear instructions that they either return to profitability or they shut down, or a number of the companies as well are merged. And so this is why, or the enterprises rather, are merged. And so this is why as well we're seeing that play out in terms of the expectations from the IMF for us. But what has been the economic indicators from when we joined or before we joined, and what the current state is now? Because the questions need to be answered as to whether or not we are on track in terms of what it is that we went to the IMF to do, and whether or not we've seen improvement as a result of going under this ECF program. And so We'll start off with GDP growth. And 2023, pre-ECF, the growth of the economy, 3.1%. Currently under the program, 5.7%. I think the finance minister had underestimated that, but we are appearing to be on course to be hitting this target or going above it. Inflation stood at around 54.1% at the last time of check, as was announced by the Statistical Service. We're at 9.4%. Public debt to GDP ratio at the time before we had to enter into debt renegotiation, amongst many other things. This is where we stood at. Now, per the numbers, we're at 44%. Exchange rate as well, and these are BOG specific numbers, 14.1 in terms of the exchange rate. We're at 14.1, currently 12.5. Fiscal deficit percentage of GDP as well, we're at 9.2%, but we're at 5.1% now. And our reserves have moved from 2.3 months to 4 months. That's the import cover we have as well as a country. And so these are what we're comparing the program, our performance before and currently as we are under the program. But this review, this fifth review by the IMF, there are a number of things that they are looking out for in terms of the conversations with our team. And the first is revenue reforms. Remember, the finance minister has, amongst many other things, mentioned that there will be reform of our VAT system. That should be a part of the conversation. In fact, it is one of the many things we can look forward to in terms of the removal of the COVID-19 levy, because you remember the finance minister had mentioned that there will be a reform of the VAT, and that will take care as well of the COVID levy. And so that is expected to be a part of the conversations. Then the debt of the state-owned enterprises, they'll have a conversation as well about the path upon which our inflation is. And then energy sector debts, that continues to be a significant aspect of our debt and continues to be a cause of concern for every government, because every now and then we keep reminded by both the World Bank, the IMF, that has a potential to as well cripple the entirety of the Ghanaian economy. And the expected disbursement outcome, $360 million US upon approval. That's what we have in terms of the latest from where we were before, what the situation is now, and then as well what we're looking out for in terms of the latest review as well, Kimani.
So it looks like it's working. It's working.
Yes, I mean, it works.
Somewhere in the middle?
That's why some say we should stay on 1 extra year so we can cement all of the good work that we're doing, because it's described as a big brother looking above your shoulders and ensuring that you're doing everything right. And so some are asking that if possible it be extended, but the government says they're not going to.
But the sustenance post that is also important. We'll keep an eye on that. Very
important.
Mawana with by the numbers. Let's bring you Regional Hub now.